Welcome into the beautiful Corporate Research Center here in Blacksburg, Virginia. We hope you're enjoying your Wednesday. This is TSL Today, coming up next. Hi, everybody. Welcome in here on TSL Today. It is a Wednesday here in Blacksburg, Virginia. I'm Giovanni Heater, joined alongside Carter Hill with you. We record on November 16th. Well, we're going to go ahead and go over our news and updates. And then in our second segment, we are going to break down the Charleston Classic that Virginia Tech basketball will be playing in starting tomorrow. Tip-off against ODU is 2 p.m. on Thursday. But first, Carter, let's go through our news and updates. And one of our biggest pieces of news today, obviously very unfortunate, but it really is incredible how the Virginia Tech Hokie community has responded to the UVA shooting and really wrap their arms around that community as well.
Well, just a terrible situation, what took place in Charlottesville, right? I mean, you can't prepare yourself for something like that. Unfortunately, us here in Blacksburg and Nick and I were too young, but everybody, unfortunately, is too familiar with that feeling of a tragedy taking place on your campus. And for this to happen to 3 student athletes and 4 student athletes and 5 student athletes, 2 are recovering in the hospital. 1 is still fighting for his life, but is expected to recover. It just is a very unfortunate situation. And it's so tough to see as a college student myself, and all of us are college kids in here, to see that happen, not only to student athletes, but to 20 and 21-year-olds. It just really puts in perspective how precious life is. But it's been really refreshing to see how not only Virginia Tech, but the entire country has, like you said, wrapped their arms around the UVA community. I mean, we saw the women's basketball game on Monday. Kenny Brooks quickly met with his video team and the managers and the equipment guys as well, and put together a t-shirt that said #Hokies for Who's, with the 3 numbers of the 3 fallen student athletes, and wore them in warm-ups and on the bench for the victory over USC Upstate on Monday. So just a lot of good vibes here in Blacksburg around such a terrible situation.
No doubt about it. The t-shirt, like you mentioned, had the numbers 1, 15, and 41. Devin Chandler wore number 15. Deshaun Perry wore number 41. And Lavelle Davis Jr. wore number 1. Mike Collins is officially out of his second surgery in the ICU,
off the ventilator as well,
yes,
which is very good news.
And he is recovering. All that, by the way, was gathered by reliable news sources.
Right. No, we're not going to talk about anything that hasn't been confirmed on.
Correct. Okay, so they had the shirts, and it's incredible that they put those together in less than 24 hours after the tragedy ended up taking place. Brent Prys also put out a very heartfelt statement yesterday in his Monday presser. Carter, kind of your thoughts on some of the things he had to say about Tony Elliott, that football program, and how much it's affecting everyone here in Blacksburg.
Yeah, had a prepared statement that lasted about a minute and a half in length and was really touching. He talked about, he texted Tony Elliott, the UVA head coach, of course, yesterday, and told him that he loved him. And the biggest quote for me that stood out was, quote, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but it was something of the effect of, UVA was here for us, and us being Virginia Tech in 2007, and now we're here for them. And so he talked about thinking about if this had happened to his own team. David Teal of the Richmond Times-Dispatch brought up that when he was coaching at Memphis, Brent Prys, in 2008, they had a player who unfortunately was murdered. And Brent Prys had dealt with something like this before, but 3 student athletes at once, with 1 recovered in the hospital, with an on-campus incident, is a little bit different. And so he just talked about how much that brought back memories from that year, which obviously is so devastating to have to deal with that. They actually played a game 2 days later. They beat Marshall in Memphis. So that was something to note for sure. But Coach Prys really, I think, did a good job of describing how much that this was felt in Merriman and inside the Virginia Tech football program, even though it took place just down the road in Charlottesville. And he certainly came prepared with a heartfelt statement. I know you're going to bring this up too. Kenny Brooks, this is a shorter one, so going to go ahead and read this one off. He tweeted out a prepared statement before the USC Upstate game that said, quote, "Our hearts go out to the University of Virginia and the city of Charlottesville. Today we come together as one community. We must show love, compassion, and unity. The Virginia Tech women's basketball program sends its unwavering love and support, and are praying for all those who are affected by the senseless acts that occurred last night." Of course, this was tweeted out Monday afternoon, #Hokies for Who's, which is taking, it's been a pretty widely used term within the Virginia Tech fan base over the past 24 to 48 hours.
No doubt about it. Virginia Tech, speaking of Merriman, like you mentioned, they have officially just raised a Hokies for Who's banner hanging outside of Merriman. For those that don't know, that is a location that is kind of special for banners. Typically when a team wins any kind of conference championship or any kind of impactful individual performances in some of the individual Olympic sports, that is a place where things like that are hung. So that's a special place to put a banner up. The banner is navy blue with orange lettering, and it says hashtag Hokies for Who's. So that is huge.
Definitely walk by it too if you have the opportunity. I walked by it today going to Castle Coliseum. It's, for those who don't know what Merriman is, it's the building in between Lane Stadium and Castle Coliseum.
The athletics building.
Exactly. Right. So walk by it. You can't miss it. It's pretty powerful to see for sure. Virginia
Tech football also changed the color scheme and design of all of their social media platforms to support UVA. Again, their profile picture on Twitter is the Virginia Tech logo with a navy blue background and a orange Virginia Tech logo, and underneath it says hashtag Hokies for Who's. And then the banner is navy blue with orange lettering, again, that says Virginia Strong. So just powerful stuff. Virginia Tech has done a really nice job of making sure that the University of Virginia feels that support. And there's also been some things around campus taking place, posters being signed in front of Turner, thanks to Red Cup VT, posters and candles outside of Burris Hall. I'm not going to be shocked if the basketball and football team will be wearing some form of similar shirts that the women's basketball team did, or have some kind of tribute prepared and incorporated into their games this weekend. Obviously, football is at Liberty on Saturday. Men's basketball will be playing on really Thursday, Friday, and then Sunday. No matter how they win or lose in the Charleston Classic, which we will get into. The Virginia Tech football team has said that they will be wearing a helmet sticker that all teams in Virginia will be wearing. William and Mary, Richmond, Virginia Tech, all teams will be wearing this.
I'll pull up the tweet right now if you want, just to perfectly describe it. Mike Barber, also of the Richmond Times-Dispatch, put out a tweet during the Tech Sideline podcast today that our David Cunningham also confirmed. He said around Virginia this weekend, college football teams, including JMU, ODU, Liberty, Virginia Tech, Richmond, and William and Mary, will wear a memorial decal on their helmets to honor the shooting victims at UVA. So quite a touching tribute there for sure.
It is, and we'll put up a picture here in post-production, but it is the state of Virginia, and then it has the ribbon on it. So
and the Virginia Tech Twitter account tweeted out a picture from Monday night that went viral. It was the top of Burris Hall with the sunset behind it, and the colors of the sunset were navy blue and orange.
Now this isn't official, but it seems like Liberty football is, their athletic department anyways, is encouraging their fans. That is official.
Yes.
But the Virginia Tech part isn't, which we'll get into in a second. Liberty is encouraging their fans, rather than wearing red, to wear navy blue at the ball game. And then Virginia Tech, not necessarily from a university standpoint, but the Virginia Tech athletics and football community is encouraging Virginia Tech fans who will be in attendance, which there will be a lot of them, hopefully, at that game in Lynchburg, to wear orange. So you'd have this as an effect of navy blue and orange decorating the crowd in Lynchburg.
And Liberty, they are wearing their all navy blue uniforms. Virginia Tech, unfortunately, they don't have an orange uniform to wear on the road. And even if it isn't university encouraged, and especially since it's an away game, it wouldn't shock me if it isn't. But if you're going to the game in Lynchburg this weekend, I'll be there. I'll be there as a fan.
I'll be calling it.
Yeah, I know. You'll be high above, and at the 5-yard line? I know they.
Yeah, we basically had to, they first said we just don't have room for student radio, and we said, well, we don't have a radio booth, but we're not. Hey, you got a folding table. You got a folding table and outlet, and they were like, sure. So
after going to ODU with Jake Lyman earlier this year, there is no such thing as we don't have room for you.
No doubt.
But no,
we're gonna make it work.
It's gonna be a pretty touching event too. Like, if I'm gonna wear orange to the game, if you're going to the game, wear orange.
I'm gonna wear an orange tie.
It will be a very touching thing to see on Twitter too, and across social medias, to see Williams Stadium. I had to think of the stadium name for a second. I've never been there before. It's going to be pretty touching to see half of it, or probably 3/4 of it, shown out in navy blue, and the other 1/4 of it in that orange from Virginia Tech. So to see those two colors binded together for a game like this to honor UVA would be something pretty touching to see for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad I just thought of it. I have multiple navy blue and orange ties, and I will definitely be wearing one of them on Saturday to call that ball game. All right, well, let's go ahead and let this soak, and we'll flip the script here. Again, we're heartbroken over here in Blacksburg and across the country, but especially here at TSL. Our condolences do go out to the University of Virginia, Charlottesville, the football program, everybody involved. Just devastating. So we're going to flip the script here. We're going to talk Charleston Southern Classic when we go ahead and flip the script and talk about basketball. It's TSL Today on a Wednesday from Blacksburg.